CowboyPodcast. I'm Tristan. I'm here with Justin, my co-host.
Hello, everybody.
And Justin, go ahead and introduce our guest.
All right. Today we have with us Richard Lathan.
Hi, I'm Richard Lathan.
Welcome, Richard.
You did good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, good. And you haven't done any of this kind of stuff before, podcast?
No.
Yeah.
If he tells it probably looks like we haven't either by the looks of it. We're working on it.
We're working
It's
on
all
it.
right.
We like to find out just your walk of faith and where you are on that walk of faith of discipleship. So, Richard, did you grow up in a Christian home, or what's your background?
Where were you born?
Yeah,
I was born in McRoberts, in Whitesburg, Kentucky, but I lived in McRoberts, Kentucky, in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. That was just until I was maybe about 5 or 6.
So you don't remember a whole lot of
Did
it.
you have siblings?
Well, I do have 7. I had 3. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister in Ohio, and I have 2 brothers and 1 sister down here.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of. Was your family an intact family?
No. No, we grew up, majority of our lives we grew up in foster care.
Really?
So, yeah.
But you spent time with your mom? Was your dad around?
No. Well, we didn't really we knew our mom, but we really didn't know our dad like that until maybe 15 years ago.
Wow.
And he lives in Nashville now. He moved up here, but then he moved down to Nashville. So
Do you have a relationship with him now?
we do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
That must have been an interesting progress to establish relationship. And that. Did you pursue him or did he pursue you?
Oh, that's a story. I pursued him, actually. I went to Ohio to a friend's house up there. And then I traveled my way down to Ohio where he lived at. And I stayed up there for maybe 2 weeks. And so I can get to know him and my brothers and sisters up there.
Okay.
So what age did you start in foster care?
No, I think I was 6. Something was about 5 or 6.
Is that why you came here? How did that all happen?
Well, after foster care, we moved in with my grandmother, which is also in the same spot in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
We moved there with with her, and say maybe a year after that, we moved to Tennessee. We moved to Johnson City.
Okay.
With your grandma?
With my mom.
With your mom? Okay.
With my mom. In which my mom, she had, I guess you could say, a drug problem. But she always tried to do the best she could. But the inability of her not being able to take care of us took over.
Yeah, that's a heavy lift to take care of all the kids and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Did you go to church or was that part of your...
Well, when I was in Kentucky, I went to church. I've been rooted in church my whole life.
Okay.
But majority of my life, you had God holding this hand, pulling on this hand and the devil pulling on his leg, So, but yeah, churches have always been rooted in me.
Okay.
Who was the biggest influence in your childhood as far as going to church and talking about God?
God. I really didn't have a big influence of like that. It's like, hey, you're going to church. It's Sunday. You're going to church, and that's what it was, But majority of, as a kid, I had to go to church, but you know how kids are. You go to church, you lay down and go to sleep, or you're getting fussed at for making noises, So, the church has always been there, though.
Yeah.
It's always been there. Even through foster care, it's always been there.
I imagine, during that foster care, did you ever talk to God? Did you pray when you were a kid?
I did, yes. I prayed a lot because there's a lot, like I wanted my family to come together.
Yeah.
And, in Kentucky, that's when I did my praying. That's when we moved here. But then, Satan came back into our lives, and we went back into foster care maybe like 2 or 3 years later. We went back into foster care. Yeah.
So, as a kid, what kind of things captivated you or had your attention, or what desires or goals or dreams you have as a kid?
Well, I was into martial arts back when I was a kid. I got a black belt in Taekwondo.
Really?
Yes. And
I know Juno.
Then
You don't know if I got a knife. You don't know if I got a gun. But it's my day to do the lame
yes,
jokes.
we do.
then I played church league basketball, rec league basketball, and then I played football for a while.
Okay.
So sports, like a lot of boys.
It was a
guys.
whole lot of sports. Back in the 80s, that's all we had was sports, or outside in sports. That was your best
Yeah,
friend.
there wasn't no computer time, screen time like there is
There
now.
wasn't none of that. You wake up in the morning, knock on your best friend's door, wait till he eats his bowl of cereal, then we're out playing all day long.
Yeah.
Drinking out of water spigot when we get
Yeah,
thirsty.
out of a water hose. I remember those days.
Yeah.
We're telling our age, fellas.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So did you go through a phase in life where, Lord, I need to get closer to you? Let me back up. How long would you say that you have been living as a disciple of Jesus?
Well, honestly, that's, shame the devil, tell the truth, It's when my mom, she's always, when she was alive, she died 2 years ago.
Oh, my.
So she always wanted me, hey, come to church, come to my church. And I never would go to church. But when we moved up here to Greene County, we stumbled upon fireworks, which was here.
Oh.
And from that day forward, this is where we came. And this is where my faith has grown.
So it's been a
lot the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Like I said, the devil's the God had this arm pulling and the devil had this arm pulling, I was, I wasn't really, into God at that moment like I am now, but I knew who he was. I knew he was real, but my faith was low,
You weren't pursuing him. You weren't like...
Right. Yeah, I had faith. My faith is what kept me from pursuing it. Because, everything works on his time and nothing worked on my time. So that my faith was low at that time. So I just never really pursued it, at that time.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like your mom was more active toward their later years
She was.
In church and she became a one who was praying for a boy, no doubt.
Yes. Oh, yeah. She prayed for me all the time. And plus, I was a mama's boy.
Where were you in the pecking order as far as the kids?
Well, I have an older brother named Daryl. Then my sister, she's the second oldest, and I'm the third. Then I have a little brother.
Okay.
Yeah, younger brother now.
So your mom, obviously, she was active in church, praying for you.
Yes.
And do you think that might have had it when she passed? When your mom passed, and how did that stir you to maybe take a different direction? It had to have some kind of impact on you.
It did. And I know she wanted me to love God with all my heart, and that's why she pushed me so much to go to her church and go to church with her, and I never would. So when she passed away, that did click something in me. Maybe, if I want to see her again one day, I need to get my faith right and, get myself right with God. That way one day if something that happened to me and I can see her again.
Do you happen to know when that moment was? When was your crossing the threshold of faith and saying, it's you, Lord?
Well, we had came to the fireworks show before she passed away.
Okay.
And I'd go see her at the hospital. Then I go see her at the healthcare center. And the more I seen her down, she started downgrading, fading away is when, it clicked, you need to start doing right. And after that clicked, I went and bought her a Bible and I took it to her. But she never got to read it.
Do you still have that Bible?
No, her husband has all her things now.
Okay.
All
right.
We inherited nothing. Right. It's not really about the inheritance, but I would love to have that Bible back again, though.
Do you have contact with her husband? Would you be your stepdad then?
No, he's my stepdad. I don't deny that, like my brothers and sisters, they don't really claim him like that. But no matter what his downfalls was, because he had a drug habit also, I still claimed him as my stepdad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could. Is he still alive?
He's still alive, but he's right now locked up. He's in jail.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's another prayer request, isn't it? Yeah. Well, maybe as as the Lord reminds you, just pray that one day you're able to get your mom's Bible back. That would be. I think that would be a neat thing to have.
It would.
So.
Well, it certainly doesn't sound like a coincidence, and I've heard Nikita's testimony.
Yeah.
That you guys were kind of looking, maybe not for a church when y'all heard about the fireworks show. You were she said you were just looking for a place to take the kids to watch some cool fireworks.
Yes, we was.
And here you are thinking about, man, my mom's passing and I'm going to see her again. I mean, you're thinking about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you end up, coming to the fireworks here at our church. And so
it all started here.
Yeah. I'm not a big believer in coincidences.
Me either. Yeah. Just like when I decided to start this junk removal business.
The what
I was working
business? Say that
junk
again?
removal.
Junk removal.
Yes, I was working at a restaurant and something all of a sudden said start a business.
Did Justin inspire you?
Oh, see, I was going to ask if he got rid of his co-host.
But it was but like I was saying, like the coincidence thing, something told me start a junk removal business, and I tried. I didn't know if it was myself or if it was like the Holy Spirit saying, hey, start your business, Or it was maybe it's just me tired of that job. Maybe it's just me tired of that job. But so I just took a leap of faith, went up there and started a business.
Wow. Now, you may not have guessed this about me, but removing junk, removing clutter, I found out early on in my marriage that I really enjoyed doing that. Having, you enter into a spot where it's just overwhelming. You don't know where to start, and you're able to peel back and clean out and then organize and stuff. I really like doing that.
Yeah.
It's one of my those things.
You just like to move without taking everything with you. You move and have a big yard sale.
Well, that is one way to clear out junk is just keep moving and don't let the
don't
junk
let him fool you. He just moves. That's what it is.
But no, I think I started out doing that when Becky and I were first married and we were living on an apple orchard in a wonderful state of Washington. And
there it is, folks.
There was a big barn full of...
I worked on one of those before.
Yeah.
Apple orchards, yeah.
Oh, They
had bees in the back. And then
is that kind of thing?
We take the tractor, mash up the apples so the bees can just get the nectar out of it, get the juice out of it, and then take that, because it was right there in front of the hive.
Okay.
So we just mashed up the apples and...
We had spoiled bees then.
Yeah, they were spoiled rotten.
Anyway, you know how farmers are. They collect everything and they don't get rid of anything. And that's how it was with decades of stuff in this big barn. I just went at it and cleaned out. And that's when I discovered I really like doing that.
Yeah.
It's hard work, but there's this challenge to overcome it. Anyway, so yes, junk removal. I like that.
Yes.
So how's that business going?
I've done jobs for a few people here at church, but so far as I've advertised, it's on Google and whatnot, and I'm still trying to get to grow. It's going to take time, but I'm still trying to get to grow.
Now, do you do the recycling things? Do you grab the metal and take it to turn it in?
Yes, I do.
I like
trash
that too.
pickup. I do trash pickup for people in rural areas who has to go to drive all the way out to the the dump site, the dump center. So I do bi-weekly, weekly, monthly.
It's like reverse DoorDash.
Yeah.
Taking out the DoorDash remnants away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shameless plug. We'll throw that in there right there.
I like
That's
that.
it. Yes.
You need junk gone? Talk to Richard.
Here you go.
Come to this guy.
Okay.
In which I tried, I try to work fast. There's some jobs that I came across that took a few days, because we had Chantel's basketball practice going and then, and what her games and stuff like that. So we had to, work around it, per se. So whenever her practice was over with, or I'm not at work, we go out and work on that job we was paid to do.
Yeah.
So we try to work fast and get it done the way they want it done.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had mentioned before we got the cameras rolling something about in your past doing wrestling.
Yes.
Tell me, that's a curious thing. Down south, of course, it's much more popular than.
It is.
So tell me about what did that look like, and who were you?
And
how did that happen?
Well, when I first started, I was hanging out with one of my friends.
How old were you?
I was, I think, 25, 26, something like that. Okay. I was young when I started.
All right.
And he asked me, he said, let's go to a wrestling show. I got friends who's wrestling there.
Okay.
I was like, oh, cool. Because my Uncle Chuck, he wrestled before. He wrestled in the 80s when it was very popular. It was on the news and all that stuff. Yeah. So we went down there and we sat down with his friends and whatnot. And he was like, hey, you want to be a wrestler? Sure. So I started training. I went through some extensive training, learned how not to hurt me and learn how to hurt somebody else,
Did you do that locally? Or did you do it?
Yeah.
Like, was that Ricky Morton, or where did you?
Well, no, I didn't train with Ricky Morton. At the time, Ricky Morton, his is, slightly expensive because of who he is, whatnot. So I never.
That was just up the road for the record, Tristan.
Yeah,
in case you're not in the wrestling.
I have no idea who Ricky Morton is.
You don't know who the Rock and Roll
Is he a cartoon?
Express? You don't know who the Rock and Roll Express is?
I don't know.
He doesn't follow wrestling.
I don't follow wrestling. I do wear the outfits at home, but that's about it.
Anyway.
No, it was somebody I looked up to as a kid growing up.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched wrestling.
He's a former wrestler.
All right.
Had a school just up the road on Chuckey Highway there. So not far from where, Yeah.
Okay.
So
Who
did you train with, or where did you learn
my
that?
trainer, his name was Jerry Duggar and Ricky Ward. I had 3 trainers, and his son Ryan Wilson. They was my trainers. They've done it for a long time, and I trusted them. And we went down. We'll go down there, and they'll train me and show me things, show me how to do things the right way. But the training fell short when he passed away. He got hit by a truck in Gray, by a gravel truck. It was a big dump truck. So
wow.
So did you actually ever get into a wrestling career at all, or?
I just basically wrestle locally, and
what's the local group?
I wrestle for ICW, ICWA. I've wrestled for TWF. I still currently wrestle for them. I wrestle for King's Wrestling, which is based out of Bristol.
Okay, you've got to educate me, because I don't have any clue. Never been to a wrestling match. Tell me about the experience of your first official match that you're going to do, and you're going out after your little bit of training. Walk me through just what you were going through during that time, so I can get a feel for it.
Well, basically, when I first started, before I went out, I had you got to buy your wrestling gear and whatnot, so you can look the part. So before I went out, I was backstage. They always start you out with a tag team partner or in some kind of faction or something to get your feet in the door, get your feet wet and whatnot. So I was tagged up with my friend Ryan. I don't want to say the name of our tag team at that time.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. But we started out with that. I was more nervous.
Oh, I imagine.
At that time, than I am coming here doing my first podcast, So I was nervous,
right.
But, that nervous is always going to be there. You hear professionals say the nervous is always going to be there,
regardless.
Part of it. But, when you go out there, it fades away. It goes away.
So you guys had talked about, kind of rehearsed, hey, I'm going to fake it, do this, and I'm going to hit you there, and and this is how we're going to wind. So
see, we have this thing called kayfabe.
Yeah,
which means
cave,
which means don't tell the secrets.
I got you.
Like a magician and
see, the thing about wrestling is used to. I mean, people thought it was real. I mean, it's whatever. That was the whole premise, and
not up
the
north.
industry. the industry did not want people to know that. Then they kind of broke that fourth wall, as you say.
Right.
And
Now
it became sports entertainment.
Yeah.
And you knew it was still very athletic. It was real in a physical sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're athletes.
But it's scripted. Everybody kind of knows it was kind of out there that, hey, there's a predetermined outcome here.
Well, back then,
But we're talking about back in the day.
Well, back in the day, in the 80s, there wasn't really the internet to expose secrets.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Nowadays, you got the internet. All you got to do is look up. If you want to know something about wrestling, all you got to do is look it up.
Sure.
So the kayfabe nowadays is gone. You know, you don't really have a kayfabe now. You know, and
The number one secret about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
No.
Okay.
You know,
But my goal is I had bought a ring, but the wood was rotten and the padding was rotten. So
You
now
bought
I
a
just got
ring.
a frame. So now I have
I was thinking ring, but you're talking ring.
A
wrestling ring.
Wow.
So my goal, my goal now is I want to, bring, have a Christian, wrestling scene, wrestling gig, and I want to bring back the kayfabe of it, the secrets,
Okay.
and whatnot. Because nowadays you walk out, you go to a wrestling show, you see a good guy, which is a heel talking to a baby face, was a good guy, sitting there talking, and you're not supposed to. That's something that's not.
You're supposed to keep that persona up all the time.
Yeah.
The good guy versus bad guy, and all.
Okay.
And
like
you
our
have
podcast.
Yeah.
you have a role to play.
Yeah. I bought now what I have is a frame, and so I have friends who has stereo equipment, microphones, all the other stuff they can help me with. But right now I'm just trying to, I want to, grind it down to the bare steel, and repaint it, make it look better than what it was, because there's a lot of people, the ring that I have there's a lot of, let's say, legends that wrestle in that ring. I consider legends myself. Anyway.
Oh, so you have a vintage ring.
Yes.
That you're bringing back to life.
Yes. Yes, it's vintage.
Would there be, if there was like somebody with a persona of like a cowboy pastor coming out to wrestle? What do you think of that?
I like to see that. Come on, Pastor Tim, here's your chance.
He can be the baby face, not be the heel. That's what we do.
Okay.
And see, it goes all the way down to the commentators. You have one commentator who's more technical, and they're commenting on the technique and this and that. And then you got a color commentator who's always been outlandish and saying this crazy stuff and this and the other. I don't know who's who among us. But anyway.
Well, that's fun that you have kind of a side passion there. Just kind of a fun thing to look at, and a hobby and interest.
Well, it's now that I'm getting older, I don't want to be like one of these wrestlers who's in their 60s and 70s still wrestling. I would like to, in order to keep my foot in the door, I would like to at least run my own shows. That way I can at least keep my foot in the door, but not actually be in the ring. You know what I mean?
More from a organizer or promoter standpoint, something along those lines. They're different. Yeah. Okay.
But that's not these two businesses I'm trying to get started. Mm-hmm. That's not the first business I had. I used to own a scrapyard also.
Oh.
Years ago. It was, I say about 15, 20 years ago, I owned a scrapyard also.
Okay. So you have some experience with what things are worth.
Yes. I ran before I worked for a guy. I ain't gonna mention names, but I worked for him for an average of 4 years, and he decided he wanted out of the business.
Okay.
And before he got out of the business, he went and took all the money out of the bank, and he took all the money out of the registers, and just left me with the shell of a business. And I did keep it running for about 3 to 4 years. But when you have a multi-million dollar business over here and one down here, and you got a small company in the middle, the small company is the one that loses out because you can't really pay what they're paying, because then you won't get the money. You won't get the money that you paid out for the steel and stuff.
Yeah. It's a volume issue at that point.
It is, yeah. Wow. So it got to a point to where it was overhead, a whole lot of overhead.
Yeah.
So I get that. So I just shut it down, and
all right,
I'm trying to do something else.
Okay, so now the last couple of years you've been coming here, fellowshipping, and it's kind of exciting. This podcast is just before the 4th of July weekend coming up for those
yes.
And it has a different meaning for you, I imagine, this is where it all happened.
It all happened.
All the fireworks started there.
Yeah. Yes.
So in your walk of faith, in your disciplines, in your understanding, I mean, you are, not to be, looking down or offensive, but you're a relatively new believer, or maybe a new disciple.
Right.
Because you might believed for most of your life, but actually putting it to work and disciple and working out your salvation.
Yes.
That's a new thing.
Yes, it is.
Is there anything that God has been speaking to you as you're growing your faith that you really need to attend to? Is there anything that you're dragging your heels on as far as God asking you to do something as your next step in your discipleship journey?
Right now, it's just to serve, serve Him. That's why you see me volunteering at the church, and whatnot. I volunteer here at the church as much as I can, me and Nikita and the kids. We try to volunteer as much as we can. And I'm still waiting for God to tell me my next step. I'm just waiting for that next step to come.
Well, when God speaks to you, what does that sound like or look like? How do you know when God is speaking to you?
Well, like the Bible says, his sheep knows his voice. You can feel it. You can hear it in your heart, and it comes from your heart to your mind.
Right.
So as far as like when I first started, I was nervous about volunteering.
Yeah.
But he put it in my heart. Volunteer for this, and whatnot. And so now I'm just following the voice of my heart, to volunteer and do God's work.
Yeah.
We was driving down through downtown Greenville. God laid on a bench. God told us to stop and give him some money.
Really?
We didn't have a whole lot of money, but we stopped and gave him $20 anyway.
Sure.
So, we just listened to what God wanted us to tell us to do.
Yeah. And that's a wonderful thing to hear the voice of the shepherd and really begin to walk and listen.
I found that a lot of times, because it's not a big booming voice, it's not thunder from the sky or anything. At least for me. And
Not
so
me either.
I found that a lot of times it's generally something that didn't come from my brain, because I would not want to do that. I've told this before, but Holy Spirit told me to sell a truck one time. I loved that truck.
Yeah.
It was an awesome truck, but the Holy Spirit told me to sell it. And I knew that didn't come from my brain. It had to come from the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I found that it's acts that we normally wouldn't do. And the Lord goes, the Holy Spirit says, hey, and it nudges you a little bit.
But you always, God always bless you with something better after that. After you listen to his voice and you obey his voice, he always bless you with something and better than what you had before.
And even if it's just the blessing of obedience, there's something that works that it's not you. This isn't your natural tendency. It's something beyond yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful experience to have.
Yes, it is. It is.
And I found when we talk about blessings, a lot of people just assume or they think monetary blessing, right? But there's the blessing of knowledge. There's that blessing of obedience. There's a million different blessings out there, and it's not necessarily. And I've learned that there's times where what you thought would be a blessing for you ended up not being a blessing for you, but it was a blessing for other people, and that was probably God's intention all along. So
well, coming to the fireworks, when we first started, that was when the audible voice came. This is your church.
Audible voice.
It was up here.
Okay.
It came from here to up here.
Okay, so it was an internal audible voice. You heard the Lord speaking to you directly.
We were sitting over on the far side over here in the grass. We were sitting in the grass.
Okay.
And a couple of people came and talked to us, and, right here, I just fell in love with the church, just sitting there watching the fireworks and looking at the people having fun and whatnot. And that's where it started, right here.
Kind of a sense of peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you normally go to a church and you're a new person, and everybody
You're nervous, right?
You're and they're going,
yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. But when we came here, we didn't feel that. Especially, let's put it this way. Let me see. Being a colored person, you walk into a room with a bunch of white people, and you're like, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that awkwardness. When I came, I felt the welcome, and I felt welcomed by everybody. And so, and then up here, this is your church. This is where you're going to be going to church at, and this is where we've been going ever since for about, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Well, that literally just opened up a question for me that I hadn't even thought about. So when you went to church as a kid, were they black churches? Were they mixed churches?
The one in Kentucky was a black church. Well, because I was bounced around in foster care, I was bounced around a lot. So I went to different churches.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to Methodist. I went to Church of Christ. I went to, it's just so many of them, because throughout all the way up till, about eight or nine, we was in foster care. I went to foster care, and
you went to whatever church they went to.
Whatever church they went to is what I went to. So yeah,
this is neither here nor there, and it's not about me. But I went to a church one time. We went there several years, and the congregation was pretty much evenly, race wise, black, half white.
Yeah,
and it was the best of everything. It was so amazing. The music. The food, it was just, and it wasn't a thing, right? Yeah. Like when you could just walk into a church and it's not a thing. How awesome is that? Because we're all God's children. Color don't matter. No
matter what color you are.
I love that. And I'm glad you feel that way here.
And I've also went to all white church. I'll be the only black guy sitting in church like a speck of pepper and all the salt, I'm just sitting there like, all comfortable and whatnot, because, when you go to church for so long, you get comfortable. Yeah. You don't have to worry about what, if somebody's judging you or whatnot, because now this is your family.
Yeah.
In which when you go to other churches, sometimes you don't get that vibe. You don't get that feeling of this is family. This is a family church, Because like if you go to like certain black churches, there's a lot of gossip.
That's what I've heard.
There's a lot of gossip.
Wait. You see why are you this way, Tristan?
Go ahead.
But you go to, each church is different,
Yeah.
But this church is the most comfortable I've ever felt in any church.
Well, that's good. That's good. I don't think everybody has to find that home church. It's not the same for everybody by any means. Well, you were talking about feeling like family. So Nikita, which we've had Nikita on the podcast before. When did you all meet, by the way? When did y'all get together?
Well, I've known Kita for a long time because my dad and her dad were best friends.
Oh, okay.
And so, in which at that time, Kita was wild. She was young and she was wild, And that, of course, you remember her podcast where she told her little story.
Yeah.
That's during her wild times. And so, after she's calmed down and had kids and whatnot, me and her finally, got together. We've been together for about 6 years.
Where'd y'all actually meet, start having a relationship? Was it at your workplace or was it in the community or where did y'all
she had, I guess, been divorced for a while, well, separated. Let's say separated. When she got with me, that's when she got divorced. She made it legally divorced. And man, I've known her husband. We wasn't really friends, but when we seen each other,
you knew who the other person was.
Yeah, we sat and we'd talk, and conversate and laugh or whatnot, and then go our separate ways. And then just one day, I was in a relationship and I split up, and we was been split up for a while, and just started talking to Katie, just started talking. We started talking again and became friends. We go play basketball at the park with the kids, and we just decided to, just make it official, just, get together and see what we can do, make it work.
Make a go of it, huh?
Yeah.
I do know that and I think I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, there's a joy in being around both of you that it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Because you just can't help but smile. You know, say good morning, and
I've been like this since I was a kid, and he always smiling. And I always told him, you know, when you got the joy of God, you can. That's a reason to smile. You know, when you got God in your life, it's a great reason to smile.
Yeah. And as you know, I know that as you are growing in your walk of faith and your understanding of discipleship and the disciplines with that, and God's word and honoring what He calls us to do. You'll also have more people watching you. And how you interact. And the platform gets bigger.
Right.
And
it does.
And I mean, here you're on a podcast, and now more people who probably I would say most people recognize Richard.
Yes.
Most people probably haven't said hi to Richard, but everybody recognizes Richard.
Yes.
Which is wonderful because you're Nikita. Nikita. But now, you know, with each season of growth, with each time you're the Lord is revealing things, and for you. I love the fact that you can hear that, you know the shepherd's voice. You'll be asked to grow in areas that you hadn't anticipated.
Right.
And
God's still working on me.
God is still working on you, and He's laying the foundation. And like I say, you're relatively new to this walk of discipleship.
Yes.
So that's exciting. That's exciting. In fact, I really appreciate not just new disciples, but new believers that have never seen any of it before, and they have a zeal, they have an energy that the old timers may not have. They just kind of going through the motions. They know all the routines and everything, and they kind of fall into a rut of just this is what expectations and living just according to those minimum expectations.
Yes.
But for a new believer, it's all new. It's all new, and there's a joy in that. What's next, Lord? What's next? And I just appreciate that. Again, when we shake hands and smile, it's like, okay, the Lord's getting a hold of Richard.
Yes, it is. I love it. It's a great feeling. A very great feeling.
Let's say in the next, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What does life look like for you? Or what are your expectations, or your dream? What would that look like for you?
Well, I'm hoping for the future. I'm praying for the future.
Okay.
For my future, that within the next 5 years, at least one of my businesses will be up and running, running good.
All right.
And I guess. Just I want to be the best brother and sisters to you guys as I can be. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom's passed away. My brother and sisters, we all, we still talk, but we all went our separate ways.
There's a distance.
You know? And so basically, the only family I have is Nikita, the kids, and you guys. Y'all my family. Y'all became my family. So I want to help you guys and be here for you guys as much as I can. As much as I'm needed, because there's a lot of independent people. He said, "Hey, you need me? Call me." Nobody really calls because everybody's dependent.
That's true. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realize that a lot,
especially among guys. We all. I used to tell the guys when we talk about in the men's group and stuff, we talk about we all want to be independent. Nobody wants to admit they need help, right?
Right.
Exactly. We hesitate to call each other.
Right.
I call Tristan all the time now for help, but that's all different.
He does.
And then you can call me for help now.
Now I know you do something. I can call you for some help too.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Justin, do you have any, final thoughts or questions?
Well,
are you going to ask your question? Go ahead and ask it. He asked me this question. I said, you can't ask that question. Go ahead, ask it.
The question we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, what question, Justin?
We're going to go there.
Jesus
there.
question.
Okay, you guys can roast me in the comments. You
Okay.
can complain in the comments.
This is his thing.
You can cancel me if you want, but I'm
This
gonna
is his question.
I'm gonna ask this question.
Go ahead.
So I've noticed. I can't believe you wait till the end of the podcast and you do this to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, people may think this is rude or racist or whatever. I'm not. I know when I was growing up in my grandma's house, he's giggling so much at this. We had a picture. He can't stop laughing. Of a very white and blue-eyed Jesus. And you think about it, and more than likely, if you look at history and genetics and where he came from, where Jesus was born at,
He was dark.
he was probably brown, right?
Yeah, he was dark.
Yeah. But I've also noticed when I went to black people's homes, I mean, I've got friends of all different races.
You see Black Jesus up there.
Yeah, you see a Black Jesus up there.
Yeah.
And so we were having the conversation before we started, and I was like, I wonder if Richard's got a Black Jesus at home.
They better not roast you over this because
Hey, the internet is forever.
It's a legitimate discussion.
I thought so too, but my counterparts were like, "Oh,
he's soft selling this. He came in here.
I don't know about all
I got
that."
the perfect question. I'm going to ask it, and I said, you can't do that.
So, but if you'll notice, I never see anybody with a brown Jesus, and he was probably actually brown.
Brown.
But I've always either seen him black or white, depending on what home you're in.
Well, the melanin is what protects the people, is what protects Black people from the sun.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so in order for being over there, it was a whole lot of sun.
Yeah.
So, it's not like he walked around with long sleeves all summer long, and it's hot out there, There's at some point the sun had to hit his skin and make it brown, give it that melanin.
Yeah.
Give it that melanin color. So I don't really see Jesus as a Black Jesus or a brown Jesus. He's just my God,
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I don't care if he's white. I don't care if he's Mexican. I don't care what color he is. He's my God,
He's all color. He's everything.
He's everything. Right.
Yeah. So I think, and my whole point in the question in the conversation was, I think we strive so hard, a lot of us, to have a personal relationship with Jesus and with God, that we imprint ourselves on how we see Jesus and God.
Yeah.
You go to a white home, you see a white Jesus. Sometimes you go to a black home, you see a Black Jesus. And I know there's everything in between. Roast me all you want in the comments. We're trying to get some comments done here. But I think it's mostly because it's what's comfortable. It's what's comfortable to us, and it helps us. It makes us feel better about trying to have a relationship with God. Right. But I love the way you answered that because he's not. He doesn't have a color. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have a color. God is love. Yeah. But love has no color.
It has been conversations that has came up. A lot of people say, hey, we're from Egypt. No, we're not from Egypt. We're not from Egypt. We're not from Africa. We're from here. God grown here in America.
Yeah.
And when I go to people's house, see the white Jesus, Black Jesus, I don't care what color he is. That doesn't bother me what color he is. I've never even really questioned what color he was, But I
never had until the first time I walked into somebody of different colors' house, and I thought, well, you know what? I've got a white Jesus at home, and he probably wasn't white. So it makes you think, right?
Well, I believe that the white Jesus, excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. Y'all can roast me in the comments. But I believe the white Jesus is what they call the European Jesus, the blonde hair, blue eyes. That's the European Jesus, and actually, like you said, but that he had to have some kind of melanin in his skin to protect him from the sun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I totally agree.
He was melanin enhanced.
Yes.
Is how I
there
see
you
it.
go. I like it.
But if you do roast Justin in the comments, just know that the more roasting, the darker he'll be.
I've seen our viewership lately. There ain't gonna be too many people that but
I
hey,
can't say it enough. Roasting.
No, but listen, seriously, get in the comments. Let us know what are your thoughts on that. Am I way off? Am I overboard? Let me know. I can take it. It's okay. I got thick skin. So with that, there was our question.
Well, that was now
that I was pushed into.
Now bring it back to a spiritual plateau.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for
a more serious spiritual question? Well, my thing is this: you've told us about your life, and there was a lot of hard times, a lot of difficult things, and drugs and foster care and this kind of. So help somebody else who maybe doesn't have that wonderful smile you have, that doesn't have that good nature that you have,
It rubs off.
That they're going through that kind of stuff. Tell them how they can connect with God, because there may be people going, God, why? Why do I have to? Why'd you do this to me? Or why am I this way? Or what's going on with my life? What can you say to those people to help them get through and have that positive attitude, wonderful smile that you have?
Yes.
Encourage them somehow.
You really can't let things get to you too much, you know. You got to constantly stay in prayer and push through. Keep moving forward. You know, it's not the end. God's going to answer that prayer eventually.
Yeah.
You know, things don't run on your time, that's what my problem was. Things don't run on your time. It's not going to happen when you want it to happen. It's on God's times, and his time is no more perfect than is a whole lot more perfect than yours.
Yeah.
You know, so what I tell them is to keep moving forward, keep your head up, straighten your crown, and pray.
Straighten your crown.
Pray.
I like that.
Straighten your crown and pray.
Amen. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank y'all guys for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It's been, I was going to say, very colorful podcast.
But Tristan.
He had to go there. He had to go there.
Again, thanks for being here. And
You're welcome.
Go ahead and close us out, Justin.
All right. As always, guys, thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed the podcast. Be sure to get in the comments, disagree with me all you want to, tell me your opinions, whatever. But the main thing is, tell somebody about Jesus this week. No matter what your skin tone is, it doesn't matter. Tell somebody about Jesus. Amen. We love you. God loves you. Until next week. Thanks.
Lord bless.
Yeah.